I like the film. Let me explain why I like it and how it could have been better, okay? I'm usually not the type of cartoon reviewer to give a negative review. This is not a negative review at all. It's just a critical one. But before we do that, let me explain why I liked about the movie so I don't sound so negative. Universal's version of Dr. Seuss's Lorax was a good movie. It had a great message of the environment being more important than money. I liked how the Winsler was raised by evil people along with his evil but misguided actions ended up being the downfall, but then he fixes mistakes at the end. I really like that. The film points out that the Winsler was the most moral within his family, but was so willing to get his family's approval and fulfill his dreams along with his family's dreams of greed. He destroyed the environment and ruined the animals' lives by forcing them to move out and hopefully find a better replacement with how terrible the conditions became. So, yes, he did the evil deeds, but he was hesitant at first, and he was influenced mostly by his family because he wanted to do it, but then he didn't want to do it when he saw what it was, how it was affecting the animals. So he did make the promise to the Lorax, but he broke it because his family wanted him to keep going. So that's why he kept going. In the end, his family betrayed him. Once all the success was done, and the animals and the Lorax were against him because he broke his promise to Lorax that he not cut down any more trees. You see, he was cutting from the leaves to get the seed that way, and it was a lot faster to just cut down the trees. But anyway, so the Winsler stayed in his own factory for many years, full of regret and shame, while Mr. O'Hare follows him in his wicked footsteps and takes advantage of the situation. And he hid the truth that the trees could be planted just for his own fortune's sake, so he could sell air to people, which should be for free. I especially like Mr. O'Hare starting Sneedville, named after the Sneeds that the Winsler once sold and made everyone buy air, which should be free, like I said. It's a scary look into our own future if they're going to start charging us to breathe. So everything I mentioned I like besides one detail. When Ted went to find a tree for his love interest, he was given a seed by the Winsler. So you're telling me the Winsler could have fixed his mistake by himself? When yes, he's older, but he says he's regretted it all those years. Why would a man waste that much time by himself if he was truly sorry? The Winsler could have tried to plant the seed right after he messed up to fix his problems, but O'Hare could have stopped him and banished him from the town. This is my rewritten version, by the way. So this is how I think the story should be going, in my opinion, to make it better. And he was only able to get the seed when O'Hare set up the town, and that was when he tried to plant it for everyone and got kicked out. Now hopeless of any way to help, and the Lorax, who after some convincing gave him the last seed in the first place, that was now destroyed by O'Hare, thinks that the Lorax thinks that the Winsler is in cahoots with O'Hare, and he traded the seed for a joint ownership of the company, and the Lorax just doesn't help, and he leaves, distrusting him. Then years later, in present day, when Ben visits the Winsler and the Winsler tells him about his tale, the Winsler has Ben talk to the Lorax, and he gives him the truly last seed because the Lorax had two all along, but that would be the twist in the story, but didn't trust the Winsler enough to give him both. The Lorax doesn't get to hear about the Winsler's changing himself because the Winsler knew that if his name was involved in the Lorax's ears, then the deal would be off. Ben lies and says he heard the whole story from his grandma. The rest of the story plays out, except when the Lorax thanks Ben instead of the Onceler. Then Ben mentions that the Onceler was involved, and the story then plays out exactly how it was before. The one difference that would make this work is that the Lorax didn't have in this version shouldn't have any powers to see, like, because he was able to see the Onceler do stuff all the time. That just like ruins the whole thing. If we get the Lorax to not be able to see every time, then that way he could see that, he couldn't see that the Lorax, that the Onceler was changed and all that, and that fit the story better. He just runs into the Onceler chopping down a tree instead of him just like appearing, like all he knew he was there disturbing the trees. You know what I mean? But he must keep his teleportation ability, because seeing him lift himself by his butt is the funniest part of this movie. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. Enjoyed it enough to make a fan theory written version of it. And that's a high honor. The only other shows and movies I've tried to make my own episodes for are SpongeBob, The Brave Little Toaster, South Park, and a short video in the style of Robot Chicken. That's off the internet for cringe reasons, by the way. I love this show. I could not do it. You know what I mean? 4 shows at one point that were considered my favorite show. This was a good movie, but with my adjustments, I think this could have been one of the best films ever made. So take that as a compliment. If someone ever says you can be the greatest YouTuber with one fix of something, if someone said that to me, I'd be honored to be almost the greatest. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This channel is all about cartoons. It's been Buffoon consumed with a spoon. Just got over my obsession and didn't want to do the gimmick in this episode because I didn't want people to be like, "What? You don't like the Lorax?" You know what I mean? I didn't want to add more confusion to it, but I think I'll relapse for the next episode and get into that again. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate your time too watching this.